All right, well, welcome. I can still say good morning. It's still 10 till, so good morning and welcome to the third annual State of the City Luncheon with the San Marcos Area Chamber of Commerce. I stand here humble as I look out of the faces and friends, community partners, chamber members, and business leaders alike. I couldn't be more proud to be your friend and president and CEO of the San Marcos Area Chamber. The better half of 3 years ago, San Marcos was put on my radar. I saw potential, I saw growth, I saw opportunity, just like many of you here today. The chamber tide has ebbed and flowed over the years, but I am confident that we are now going with the tide. As the city of San Marcos and our community grows, so does the chamber and our involvement in the issues. Today is a case in point. This event is still in its infancy and we are sold out. So thank you for being here and thank you for supporting our chamber. Today, we will discuss the state of the city, the state of our school district, and more broadly, the state of our community, which I can tell you is strong. Before we will look at this year's past and gain insight to the year ahead, I would like to recognize our elected officials with us today. Please stand as I call your name. From the city of San Marcos, Mayor Jane Houston. Mayor Pro Tem Lisa Pruitt. Councilmember Saul Gonzalez. Councilmember Ed Mahalkinen. Councilmember Dr. Marquez. And Councilmember Melissa Derrick. Thank y'all for y'all's leadership to our community. From the San Marcos CISD School Board, Board of Trustee President Clem Cantu. Board of Trustee member John McLaughlin. Board of Trustee member Lupe Castilla. Board of Trustee member Ann Halsley. And Board of Trustee Miguel R. Nando. Board of Trustee Margie Valapando. I don't believe she's with us today, but thank you for her leadership. And Board of Trustee Kathy Henson. From Hays County, Commissioner Debbie Inglesby. Thank you for being here with us. And representing Congressman Chip Roy's office, Jordan Cook. Let's give our elected officials another round of applause for all their work that they do for our community. At this time, I would like for all our members of the San Marcos Area Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors to please stand. Please give them a round of applause as they work tirelessly for the betterment of our business environment and our chamber. Thank y'all so much. Today's event would not be possible without the support of our sponsors. Our gold sponsors, the City of San Marcos, Freeze and Nichols, Lacema, L&B Inc., Texas State University, and Randolph Brooks Federal Credit Union. Our bronze sponsors, A+ Federal Credit Union, Half & Associates, McCoy's Building Supply, and Pertnow Electric Cooperative. If all our sponsors could please stand, I ask that you look around and give a standing ovation for our sponsors. It is because of their continued support that we can host an event like this. Before we hear from the mayor and superintendent, I would like to welcome Jessica Bazana, our board chair, to the stage for a few words.
Thank you, Jason. Again, welcome to the third annual State of the City. My name is Jessica Pizzana, and I am honored to be here today and serve you as your 2019 Chairwoman of the Board for the San Marcos Area Chamber of Commerce. To quote Andrew Carnegie, teamwork is the fuel that allows common people to attain uncommon results. The growth and prosperity of our community is not due to the work of one entity or one person. It is due to the hard work and vigilance of all of you sitting in this room today. You are all part of the team, a spoke on the wheel that is propelling San Marcos and the region forward. So I ask that you please join me in a round of applause for all of you. Your presence here today speaks volumes of your dedication to San Marcos and your willingness to collaborate and be part of the team. As we all know, San Marcos is experiencing unprecedented growth. Our population is growing, the university is growing, our business community is growing, and our industry is growing. Just last week, the San Marcos City Council approved the development agreements of the SMART terminal. I will leave SMART for our mayor to discuss, but wanted to acknowledge that the teamwork behind that project is proof that San Marcos is uncommon. As you sit here today and receive presentations from Mayor Jane Houston and Superintendent Michael Cardona, I ask that you listen with a keen ear, take their words to heart, and leave with an invigorated sense of community and pride. I leave you with this: I full-heartedly believe that San Marcos is uncommon in the best way. The unity of our community is key, and the San Marcos Area Chamber of Commerce is dedicating to fueling the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. I would be remiss not to agree with her that our community is uncommon. Elected as our mayor in November of 2018, Jane Houston has a legacy of public service to the city of San Marcos. With 33 years of dedication to Texas State University, or she prefers Southwest Texas, the mayor is a Bobcat through and through. Mayor Houston began her career in public service in 1996 on City Council, and then she took a decade break before she was propelled back into service and eventually rising to her current role as the elected mayor of City of San Marcos. A friend of the businesses, the residents, and chamber, Mayor Houston has proven to be a tireless advocate for everything San Marcos. For years, our mayor has been a staple of leadership San Marcos, teaching parliamentary procedures and furthering the organization as a whole. Mayor Houston has had a focus on the quality of life and continued growth while protecting our deep culture history. Please join me in welcoming the mayor of San Marcos, Mayor Jane Houston, to the stage.
Thank you, Jason and Jessica, and thank you to each who has joined me today to celebrate the continued success of San Marcos. As a resident of San Marcos for many years, I'm proud to begin my first year as mayor of this energetic, innovative, and unique city. As your mayor, I'm pleased to report that the state of our city is strong and we continue to shine. We are the heart of the innovation corridor, but the real heart and heartbeat of San Marcos is its residents. People are coming to Texas, and they're coming to San Marcos. With our population estimated at 64,000 as of January 1st, at our current rate of growth, we project our population will pass 85,000 within the next decade. Texas includes 5 of the largest U.S. cities, and San Marcos is poised between 2 of these, Austin and San Antonio. We're the home of Texas State University, the 5th largest public institution in the state. Our city staff, close to 750 strong, continue to provide exceptional service to meet the ever-increasing needs of our growing community. This is our hometown. It's vibrant and dynamic, and as we prepare for growth, we will make every effort to keep our unique character and small town feel, and we will protect its natural beauty and resources. You have a strong team working tirelessly for the community we love, so big thanks and recognition for my fellow elected officials who are here with us today or in spirit. I'd like to recognize them again because they're my allies and partners in making San Marcos successful. Mayor Pro Tem Lisa Pruitt, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Saul Gonzalez, Councilmember Dr. Ed Mahakanen, Councilmember Melissa Derrick, Councilmember Dr. Hoka Marquez, and Councilmember Mark Rockymore, who's teaching school today. Please recognize them with a round of applause. Our city is also blessed to have vital partners working with us to make San Marcos a more economically diverse community, a hometown where people can achieve their dreams and live a full and active life. The San Marcos Chamber of Commerce is one of these partners, and I want to thank the Board of Directors, its membership, President Jason Mock, and Vice President for Communications Samantha Brown. Thank you for organizing another successful event. Let's give the Chamber another round of applause. Together, we must continue to work to advance the goals of our city, and to do that, we must have a strong and creative leader. We have that in City Manager Bert Lambreras. You may not know that he was a high school baseball umpire for many years, and I think that's pretty good experience for a city manager. Bert has over 36 years of experience in Texas city management and is in his second year in San Marcos. He's a Southwest Texas State University graduate, and one of his first jobs was as an intern for the city manager at the city of San Marcos. Bert and his wife Elvia are settled in their new home, and we are so thankful to have them as part of our community. Please join me in recognizing Bert Lambreras. As the city CEO, Bert initiated citywide staff participation in 2018 to develop 5 core values. Let's hear what he and the city staff have to say.
Hello, I'm City Manager Bert Lambreras. My philosophy, my approach for our city is very simple. I want us to be the best of the best. I want people who want to be a part of what we're doing. They see the vision. They want to be a part of a culture that is performing at a high level, that is excelling because we've got the right people in the right places, doing the right thing, and at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Doing the right thing for our community that deserves the very best. This is exactly why we are intentional and thoughtful in having our employees identify each of the following core values for the City of San Marcos.
Integrity means to me being honest when no one is looking.
Teamwork is really about being able to flourish with positive collaboration.
Professionalism for me is holding yourself and everybody on your team accountable and holding everybody to the highest of standards. It's setting high marks and it's reaching them.
You know, we really try to serve our customers with the courtesy and respect they deserve, making them feel like they were really taken care of and that we help them to the best of our ability. And if we can't get the answers that they need, we'll get them to the right person that can help them out.
As a city employee, that is what we want to give our community, a sense of, hey, we care about where we work and we care about where we live, and so we want to make it safe.
So innovation is one of the coolest things that you can have in an organization because you get to bring about new ideas. And the new ideas may be small in scope, but they have a big impact on service delivery. It's ways to be able to do things more efficiently and more effectively, ways to be able to save money, to make it easier on something. And overall, I believe that part of the innovation process at the City of San Marcos is how do we really improve overall quality of life for the people that call San Marcos home.
And the council has been doing our part to advance the city's goals. Last year, we introduced 5 strategic initiatives to guide our focus and our city staff's efforts. They were workforce housing, public transit, stormwater management, community partnerships, and city facilities. I'm glad to report that our progress since last year has allowed us to replace 2 of these items on the list with 2 new focus areas. The first item replaced is stormwater management. With the historic flooding in our city, we're committed to achieving solutions for our community. The city's efforts, led by Director of Engineering and Capital Improvements Lori Moyer, have allowed us to widen our focus with the assurance that we have solutions within our sites. We are well underway with design of all of the 2015 Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery flood projects, as well as a new flood warning system. A portion of the original $34 million the city received in disaster recovery funds has been spent to help San Marcos families who experienced damage in the 2015 floods. The Council has also adopted new higher flood protection standards, accelerated stormwater improvement projects in areas such as Sunset Acres, Wallace Addition, Hills of Hayes, the Heritage and Castle Forest neighborhoods. We've received another $24 million in disaster recovery funds for a total of almost $68 million. Notably, the city's new emergency management coordinator, Rachel Engel, is making sure the city staff and the community are prepared for the next flood, which we know will happen. So let's recognize our team. Please stand. Thank you to Capital Improvements and Engineering, Planning and Development Services, Community Development Block Grant, Emergency Operations, and Stormwater Maintenance staff for spearheading our stormwater management effort. If you will please stand. So it's well underway. The second initiative replaced is community partnerships. Our collaboration with Hays County and the San Marcos Independent School District, led by Superintendent Michael Cardona, my fellow headliner today, has been successful in providing the regional resources and leadership necessary to identify opportunities. That effort is ongoing. Our Downtown Innovation District will be a partnership among many entities in San Marcos designed to bring creative and economically meaningful job opportunities to our city. So let's move to our newly adopted council strategies for 2019. Our first council initiative has been to develop a plan for workforce housing within our community. With our increased population, we know people are moving here seeking a good job and a place to live. However, our community has a lack of and a need for affordable and diverse housing options. Since 2015, we've added more than 1,500 new single-family homes and 9 apartment complexes. We know that 70% of renters in our community are not students. One reason is that the recent median home price is just over $200,000 and the median family income is just under $50,000, meaning a large portion of our residents can only afford a home that costs around $150,000. This makes home ownership out of reach for many, including teachers, service workers, and graduates beginning their careers. This past year, we created our Workforce Housing Task Force, made up of 19 community members, to develop a strategic action plan focused on meeting the needs of current and future residents. Mobility and transit alternatives continue to be a major challenge, so our second strategic initiative has been expanded from public transit to multimodal transportation. This term better captures the many methods of transportation being explored and expanded in our community. Our team is working to establish the city as a direct recipient for federal and state transportation funding and to work in partnership with Texas State to create a single, expanded, seamless bus system in San Marcos. This new bus system could be a reality in the next year or two. This would continue the successful partnership the city and Texas State have experienced with the VEO Ride bike share program introduced this past year, with the deployment of 350 rentable bikes and the addition of 150 electric bikes, just in case you need a little boost to help you up that big hill. We love being in the hill country, don't we? The cornerstone to the success of this initiative is our newly adopted and updated Transportation Master Plan, which will guide our street and road network development for the next 30 years. This plan is critical to establishing future roadways and accommodating continued growth. Another council initiative is city facilities. We are well underway on planning and construction of projects funded through the $32 million bond election passed by over 75% of our citizens in 2017. The contract has been awarded for renovations to our police department building to address security enhancements and expand the 911 emergency response call center. Across town, our public library is on track to double in size with a new expansion and renovation. San Marcos firefighters will soon receive crucial training in a new fire training facility, and a new fire station on the southeast side of San Marcos is underway in the Trace development. Besides the voter-approved bond projects, work on the Public and Community Services Maintenance Facility on Clovis Barker Road is proceeding. This location will allow us to relocate our utility, fleet, and maintenance operations away from the City Hall complex where we're currently out of parking and workspace. The next phase of our plans will be to design needed City Hall facilities that will accommodate operations for at least the next quarter century, and we're exploring partnering with the private sector to reduce public debt. Our two new strategic initiatives include workforce development and downtown vitality. To achieve workforce development within San Marcos, we will facilitate operations and opportunities for training and programming for San Marcos residents. With an unemployment rate that hovers below 3%, we know we have people who want to work to provide for their families and their futures. We're committed to attracting and developing workforce opportunities for those who are unemployed, underemployed, or fully employed but driving to work in another city in horrendous traffic every day and would prefer to work here. A full-time job with benefits beats working multiple part-time jobs without benefits. It's a game changer, providing more quality family time for parents to read to their kids, help with homework, and improve overall school performance. And what's not to like about more leisure time? Our fifth and strategic initiative is downtown vitality. San Marcos is blessed with a historic downtown that draws residents and visitors to enjoy the shops, restaurant, and art displays that exist in and around the courthouse square. The city supports business activity and will begin a revised downtown master plan process. We will work with key stakeholders such as the Downtown Association, Main Street, Texas State, and others. We will develop strategies for vacant and neglected buildings and explore long-term funding solutions for beautification and maintenance. As we move through 2019, we're committed to economic expansion for our city and residents by diversifying our tax base and increasing our job market. Vital job growth in San Marcos has increased by over 5%. This equates to over 1,800 new positions last year alone. Over the last 6 years, total annual sales tax revenue collected by the city increased by over 52% and can be attributed to the outlet malls, our vibrant downtown, new businesses and restaurants, new residential and commercial construction activity, and the Best Buy call center, which went online in October of 2017. So far, the city has collected $16.6 million in sales tax revenue, which is an increase over last year at this time and is fantastic news for San Marcos. The Best Buy call center, a first of its kind in Texas and the sole Best Buy e-commerce sales operations in the state, employs local residents and is on track to generate $1.8 million for the city this year. Additionally, Amazon represents over $191 million in capital investment in our community and 3,000 full-time jobs. The San Marcos Airport is also thriving. With more than 65,000 takeoffs and landings each year, it creates a major impact on the local economy through the creation of jobs, capital improvement projects, and visitors. We're proud that our airport plays a role in helping veterans transition into civilian employment through our Coast Flight Training Center. These successes highlight the increasing value of the San Marcos Airport. Thank you, Texas Aviation Partners, for their continued operational efforts on behalf of the city. One of the most exciting current economic development projects is the new SMART terminal, the San Marcos Air, Rail, and Truck Terminal, an 888-acre rail-served industrial park on the east side of I-35, just south of Gary Job Corps and the San Marcos Airport. This business park will attract corporate tenants with quality jobs and make significant capital investment in our community. Council and staff worked diligently to negotiate an incentive and development agreement to provide for the annexation of the property to achieve enhanced development, land use, floodplain, and stormwater management standards. Will everyone involved please stand, including those who helped create our new land development code, which is critical to our success. Please help me thank everyone who made Smart Terminal happen. If you were part of the effort, please stand. Thank you. And the city has helped secure the first company for the Smart Terminal, Katerra. This innovative construction technology company will invest $109 million to create a 600,000 square foot manufacturing facility on 66 acres and create more than 542 jobs. These huge wins for the city wouldn't be possible without the assistance and hard work of the Greater San Marcos Partnership, led by Adriana Cruz, her staff, and her board of directors. Since 2010, GSMP and the staff and the city have made 22 announcements in San Marcos, which represents $365 million in new investments and countless new jobs. We are so fortunate to have them on the city team. Please help me thank them for their hard work. GSMP staff and board. Thank you. Earlier I mentioned that the real heart and heartbeat of San Marcos is in its people, and we should celebrate small businesses, volunteers, and nonprofit organizations that are the foundation of our community. Forbes and CNBC continue to rate Texas as the top state for business, and our vibrant downtown comprises over 300 small businesses, one of which was recently recognized as a Texas treasure. Landis Shoe Clinic was presented a Texas Treasure Business Award in 2018 by the Texas Historical Commission. Through 3 generations of the Mendez family, Landis has kept San Marcos in boots, shoes, and smiles for over 100 years. 2 other local businesses have also received this award. McCoy's Building Supply, established in 1927, and the San Marcos Daily Record, established in 1912. We will add other local Texas treasures to the list in the near future. To highlight additional entrepreneurs, our Main Street program this year honored Root Cellar Cafe as our 2018 Main Street Business of the Year and Buzz Mill as the new Business of the Year for 2018. You can help our small businesses continue their success by shopping and dining locally. Forbes named us America's next great metropolis, and our greatness lies in the volunteer community, which is the heart, soul, hands, and feet of San Marcos. Keeping our 2,000 acres of green space, parkland, and 25 miles of trail system and our pristine river clean is a big undertaking and takes many volunteer hours. During our recent 34th annual Great Texas River Cleanup, over 800 volunteers removed over 25,000 pounds of trash and over 6,600 pounds of recycled material. So thank you to all who participate in this cleanup each year. We can't mention Parkland without including the San Marcos Greenbelt Alliance and noting their tireless efforts in San Marcos through trail and green space maintenance. Another important organization is the Heritage Association of San Marcos, whose contributions helped restore the gazebo in Barramundi Park and helps maintain the Charles S. Cockhouse Museum for the city through the Friday Cottage Kitchen luncheons. Bobcat Build will provide 5,000 Texas State student volunteers to work in San Marcos on Saturday, April 13th. It will showcase the positive impact of leading by example and working in unison. Leadership San Marcos has completed 20 class projects within our community, including the Gateway to San Marcos sign on Highway 123 and the mosaic tile mural alongside the San Marcos River in City Park. The Village Campus, a 20-year labor of love and tenacity, was recently opened. This will provide an array of services in one location. It's the new home of Community Action, Family Justice Center, Any Baby Can, and the San Marcos Women, Infants, and Children's Office. Shortly after that ribbon cutting for the building was the groundbreaking for their neighbor, CASA, court-appointed special advocate. We can't forget to thank our other social service organizations, such as the Hays County Food Bank, Southside Community Center, Hays Caldwell Women's Center, Shibe Community Opportunity Center, Greater San Marcos Youth Council, and so many more who do the most for those who have the least. And thank you to our service clubs, Lions, Rotary, Kiwanis, and others. You contribute so much to our community. San Marcos was named one of the top 20 coolest towns in America, and there's nothing more exciting than the emerging mural and arts program that has transformed our city's walls into displays of creative, expressive art from talented local artists. Funded through hotel occupancy tax, there are 24 sculptures along with 27 murals, mini murals, and utility box art pieces sprinkled throughout San Marcos to delight and fascinate the onlooker. And the cool factor continues to expand as our Sights and Sounds of Christmas event found a way to not only enchant children of all ages with over 1 million sparkling lights, but to also achieve environmental sustainability by composting over 27,000 pounds of waste. We're proud of our city staff, Amy Kerwin, our resource recovery team, and all the community services employees who play a role in this community-wide event. We're one of 8 American cities you should visit before they're too popular, and people are. Visitors to San Marcos generated $3.2 million in hotel occupancy tax in FY18. In order to provide safe daily travel, our public services crews resurface over 22 lane miles of road annually and increase pedestrian mobility by laying and repairing 10,000 linear feet of sidewalk a year. As our city grows, maintaining our existing infrastructure is paramount. In 2018, the city invested millions in design and construction for capital improvement projects to address aging infrastructure, stormwater, and other needed improvements for our growing community. Over the next 10 years, the total investment will be almost $620 million. Ford continues to name us as one of the best places to retire, but we think San Marcos is an amazing place to live no matter what your stage of life. We're San Marcos strong and have a community that wholeheartedly supports our police, fire, and first responders. Their value, strength, and resilience was never more apparent than during the tragic, iconic Village apartment fire last July that resulted in the loss of 5 young people and life-changing injuries for Zachary Sutterfield. What an inspiration this young man is to all of us. So far, Zach has undergone 23 surgeries, and the great news is he was released from the hospital February 1st and is now undergoing outpatient treatment. Our strength is not only evident in the worst moments of this past year, but also in our proudest moments, such as the grand opening of the new children's playscape last May. This inclusive playground replaced our well-loved wooden structure that had been a childhood tradition for more than 25 years, but we now have a $1.3 million accessible place for children of all abilities to play and exercise. The new playscape features a poured rubber safety surface, wide ramps, and a highlight is the Liberty Swing that allows children in wheelchairs the opportunity to experience the joy of swinging. This project was truly a labor of love for Rodney Cobb, Drew Wells, and the rest of the park staff. It's worth a visit for kids or those who are kids at heart. Come see us. As you can see, San Marcos continues to experience transformational growth and prosperity. We had a phenomenal 2018, and we should all feel excitement as we see what 2019 and beyond has in store. Thank you to each and every one who helps make San Marcos such a wonderful place to live. It's because of each of you that we have a growing and unique hometown. I'm excited about what the future holds for San Marcos, and I'm thrilled to be mayor of this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Houston. We're grateful for your leadership and continued efforts here in San Marcos. For almost 3 years now, Michael Cardona has been a friend and close partner of the Chamber. We both arrived in San Marcos just months apart, and I must say we have been lockstep ever since. But I don't think I will ever catch up to his purple tie collection, though. Superintendent Cardona sits at the helm of the San Marcos Consolidated Independent School System. As the superintendent of schools, serving over 8,000 students and over 1,200 employees, and now 12 campuses. Before joining San Marcos CISD, Cardona cut his teeth in San Antonio and Houston as he was recognized as an innovative administrator, implementing rigorous student performance standards. Bringing that vigor with him, Cardona, with the Board of Trustees, worked tirelessly to pass a $107 million bond in 2017. As many of you remember, the slogan for the bond campaign was "Every child, every school." And since then, since the bond has passed, the district has implemented a one-to-one technology initiative, supplied laptops for every teacher, and started construction on the 12th campus, holding true to the statement, "Every child, every school." Please join me in welcoming Superintendent Michael Cardona to the stage.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, it was like a scene from Step Brothers when we met. I don't know if it tells you a little bit of my humor. Is like, what? Did we just become best friends? I didn't try and hit him with a shovel or anything, but yeah, it's hard to believe it's been 3 years. But before I start talking about the state of our district and where we're at, I do want to thank Mayor Houston, who is an unwavering Rattler in her support, and we appreciate everything that she does for us. I also want to thank those people who actually do the work. And so if I could have our principals and our central office staff who are over here and all over here, if y'all could stand, because it's Public Schools Week, and I think we need to recognize those who take care of our children. Thank y'all. I also want to thank our floral arrangement group of kiddos at the high school. Yes, we have a group of students who created those arrangements that are on your table. Whoever wants to take it, you could take it at the end, but y'all have to fight each other for them. But they were designed by our students, made by our students, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. Those are the things you don't see that aren't measured in accountability systems. For those of you who know me, you know that I love to be held accountable for a lot of stuff, but it doesn't tell the story of what we do for our children and the work that our teachers and our principals do for our children. And you've heard about the growth, you've heard about the bond, so you go to the next slide. Andrew. If we could just go to the next slide. Oh, great, technology locked. Greg, get over there and fix it. Greg's our technology director, so he knows that I can't blame him for this one. But I wanted to show you the video drone of our 12th school. So this is Rodriguez Elementary, not Texas State. I'm going to have to talk to the general manager here, whose kids go to another district. Where is he? No. So one of the things you learn about being a superintendent, you just smile, right? As a former middle school principal and high school principal, the kids have to think that you're just a little bit more off than they are. And it comes in handy. So this is Rodriguez Elementary, dedicated for a group of educators who made a difference for children, which I think is amazing, and voted on by our school board. And if I could have them stand up, because none of this would happen without a team. So if I could have our board members stand up while they figure out their technology issues. They allow us to do this. They ask the right questions. They ensure that your tax dollars are taken care of. They ensure that the money goes, for the most part, 90% to our teachers and our administrators, and most of all to our kiddos. And I appreciate everything that they have done to allow us to do the work that we're doing. right? You've heard Texas State, you've heard Greater San Marcos Partnership, you've heard Innovation Corridor. Well, innovation requires iteration, it requires failure, it requires the ability to self-reflect, it requires the ability to have honest conversation about how we innovate, and they allow us to do that work, so we really appreciate each of them. I guess the video didn't work. Well, next slide. I wanted to point out we also do this work with our foundation members. Last year I forgot them, and I sit on that foundation. Not good to get the mad mamas mad at you. But if they could stand up, because we do a lot of work around innovation. I see you. Where's Margaret? There's so much that they do behind the scenes, supporting our teachers, supporting our top 10% of our kiddos, really supporting whatever it is, the vision that we want to do. And I could go on. I mean, I see Bucky Couch out here. I see so many people from the Lions Club, so many people from Kiwanis, faith-based leaders. I mean, Texas State University. There's so many of you that I could thank. And it really is a team effort. And I think Mayor Houston and the City Council and our board members understand that the vitality of the city, the workforce development of the city, directly depends on the graduate that we produce out of the high school. We want, when our students leave the district, to be college confident, career and military ready. It's pretty simple, and that requires them to be able to read on grade level and do work on grade level, and think for themselves, advocate for themselves, take ownership for their own learning. You hear similar themes coming from Mayor Houston regards to the teamwork and what Bert Lombretis is doing. Next slide. So these are just some of our community partners. And like I said, I apologize if I missed some of y'all. I don't mean to. A+, Randolph Brooks, so many others. You see the chamber, I've mentioned Jason, Kiwanis, Lions Club. Not a lot of people there are not a lot of superintendents who have the pleasure of knowing that a group of people buy into your academic vision of rigor, PSAT testing, ACT testing, SAT school day testing, and say, hey, we're going to give you money to ensure that no kid is left behind. That's very rare. When I go to conferences and represent the district, when I hear unfortunate incidents like Santa Fe, and they're now putting in what we have and have had for 10 years. The Greater San Marcos Commission on Youth, right? Addressing socio-emotional supports. All those things that we sometimes take for granted, a lot of school districts do not have. And again, that is the state of our district. The community partners such as yourself have stepped forward. I see Chief out there. We have a Cub Scout unit at Mendez Elementary School. We have a school district safety advisory committee. When we're in the process of hiring a school safety director, Assistant Chief Klett sat on the interviews. Who can say that? Like, who gets to say that? Not a lot of people, and not a lot of people have the foresight to say, we're in here to help you. We want to collaborate and innovate with you to ensure that our kiddos are taken care of. And for that, again, I'm truly appreciative. Next slide. So who are we? You know, we are Gianna Moreno, who came as a sophomore, third place in state in wrestling, who is also a great student, who is a softball player. We are the Voyagers from Bowie Elementary School, who took it upon themselves, took the challenge on to innovate, and created a K2 and a 3-5 multi-age pilot. So that's our butterfly group. Those are teachers that have taken on this challenge, not based around an accountability system, but really around doing what's best for kids. Each of us has a story. Every city council member has a story. Every board member has a story. Mr. Lumbreras has a story. I have a story. All of y'all have your own stories. And sometimes in the education system, we don't understand those stories. We don't actually care about those stories. We just push you through. We are trying not to do that in San Marcos, and this is the evidence. You have on the far right-hand side, my glasses, I need a new picture, but we have a group of kiddos who, I need to just go look, who are, oh, those are dyslexic students, right? My stepdaughter is dyslexic. My son is dyslexic. They won a national reading competition. Those are good night students, right? And that takes great teachers who believe kids are greater than what they sometimes think they believe in. Next slide. Who are we? On the top left-hand corner, the wonderful teachers at Mendez Elementary School knew they physically couldn't take kids on field trips to France, so they created the field trip experience for them, right? They went through a passport line. These are kindergartners. They sat in front of our technology that Greg Hubenak has helped supply them. That's actually a French airline steward who's walking them through the process of travel, going to Paris, landing in Paris, taking a tour bus through the city of Paris to experience that. That addresses literacy, right? All these are innovative practices. On the top, you have a Chinese delegation of superintendents and assistant superintendents who came to visit San Marcos to see what it is we were doing. They're at De Zavala Elementary School. I think it's pretty cool for people from another country to come and see what we're doing in San Marcos CISD, because it means they understand our teachers are doing what we need to do for our children. On the bottom left, our CNA program, the wonderful partnership we have with CTMC. That teacher is an amazing teacher. Those are her kids. 19 out of 19 last year earned their CNA certification. And it really hits home when you have a community member who tells you or sends you an email and says, my mother's in a nursing home and I went to go visit her, and I hear my mother laughing and she's singing and she hasn't been very verbal, and there's 3 of your students that are in there, and when I start asking the kids you know, what their plans are, they're like, well, I got my CNA certification. My parents don't have a lot of money, so this will allow me to get a job. My next step is to go to ACC or to go to Texas State School of Nursing, but I can earn money and not have student debt when I walk the stage. That, as a superintendent, is the best feeling. Then you know what you're doing is right for kids. The picture below, mariachi program. Really the vision of a board member. Board member asked, hey, why don't we have a mariachi program? Brand new superintendent said, I don't know, why don't we have a mariachi program? We're 74% Latino. Why don't we celebrate our culture? She says, well, why don't you get one? I said, well, okay, well, why don't I? And here we are 3 years later, getting their UIL sweepstakes awards. For those of you who don't know about UIL sweepstakes, it is their STAR test. For those of you who have never experienced it, these children, special education, ELL, GT, just a normal San Marcos student, go perform before a group of judges, get a piece of music they never have seen before their entire year, have 8 minutes to memorize that piece of music without saying a word to each other, and then perform that piece of music. And you're rated on a 1 through 5 scale. That's 1 is the best rating you can get. That isn't measured in an accountability system. But I think that produces a great graduate. And then down on the right-hand side is our veterinary, I think that's our veterinary kiddos, vet program. So we try to help out all of our students. Next slide. Who are we? The left-hand picture is our current group of AVID students. For those of you who don't know, AVID is advancement via individual determination. prepares kids to go to college, it prepares them to be self-advocates, it prepares them to take ownership of their learning, organizational skills, all the things we want our adults to do. This is what this program does. These kids had to write an essay. They had to go before a panel of teachers and ask for permission to go on a trip. There's 12 of them that we're sending to the East Coast here in a couple of weeks. They're going to go visit Harvard and get toured by some students. They're going to see Tufts, and they're going to see Brown University. Why do we do that? Texas State is great. Not every kid will go to Texas State, and we're trying to find the right school for the kids. And they need to understand when they step in Harvard that there's no difference between those kids in Harvard and them in San Marcos, Texas. It's the opportunity. We're going to give them the opportunity. We have the blessing of the board. And I say this to say, and this is from a student essay, a young lady, freshman. I'm coming for everything some people said I would never have. There's another young man, he's in that picture, who didn't get to go last year because he had to work. Work is money for his family. So we're working out trying to get him the money so that he can go. It's not about, he's just as capable. That's why we do what we do. The door hasn't opened for that kid, not because he can't. Now, how tough is that to be a superintendent and have a kid say, I got to raise $200. I'm losing $100 a day. My family can't afford it. Well, it's my job to get them to $200. And so we will. If any of y'all want to donate, we'll take your donation. Next slide. I had to put this slide on there. We all go on cruises for a variety of reasons. Right? That's kind of scary, actually. But we all go on cruises for a variety of reasons, right? We all want an experience. Our education system is the cruise ship. And right now, with testing and school finance, it's in turbulent seas right now. Higher ed is experiencing many of the same situations, right? We have a testing system that, look, like I said, I'm all about accountability. Hold my kids accountable for being on grade level, not 2 or 3 grade levels above. If you want me to hold them accountable for being 2 or 3 grade levels above, let's be transparent and tell everybody that's what we're going to do. Let's not create a system that we can't figure out. We figured it out because we have great people. Last year, a group of great people said, hey, you know the 8th grade math test is 35 to 40% geometry. For those of you who have been through school, when do you get exposed to geometry? Sophomore year. We test them in 8th grade. So the superintendent, the teachers came and said, we might as well just put all our 8th graders this year in Algebra 1, or Algebra 1. Now, if we're going to fail doing that, I'm going to fail putting them in a harder class because I think the research is pretty clear about kids in 8th grade in Algebra 1. I think there's a lot of professors over here saying, yes, Saeed is correct. Right? And so we're going to fail forward. I don't think we're going to fail. I think we're going to hold the line and then get better next year. But it's an accountability system that not a lot of y'all understand. I don't understand it, and I've been in this system for 27 years. And I also went through the private school system. My accountability system was the ITBS, if you know what that test is, and the PSAT and SAT. That was my accountability system. At no point in an educational journey did we stop a kid and say, we don't think you're ready. Okay, if you're going to say that, then you better test them on grade level. Because the messaging we have been giving kids is damaging to them. And if you haven't had to do that as a parent or a kid, I've had to do that with my own child, be sat down by a group of educators that tell my kid they're not good enough because of a test that's not designed correctly, I have a problem with that. And now I have the means and the support of the board to say things. 2 legislators. And while I know she's not here, I do want to give a shout out to Representative Zwiener, our newest representative. In 27 years, she's the first legislator that has invited me as a teacher, assistant principal, principal, or superintendent to actually listen to what it is that was wrong with the system, to try and address it, to put me in contact with the people that could address it. And she knew that she had her calculator out while we were in the middle talking about school finance, and she's like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she understands the formulas. Like, she gets the formulas. And she's like, well, this is going to cost your district. Yes, that's what I've been saying. Which leads me to school finance. Thank goodness that there is an impetus to fix it, because your property values and school finance are not going to be in equilibrium until they're both fixed. And we have a legislative group finally that is trying to address it. And for that, I am appreciative to Representative Zwiener. I don't think she's here, but I just wanted to give her a shout out. Next slide. So where are we going? We are in the process of establishing an early college. We are one of the few districts around who got the UT Gear Up grant for our entire 6th through 8th grade group of kids. It has allowed us to do some really cool stuff for our students. UT is having a summer camp this summer. 500 slots were allotted for the different districts, and I'm not real sure how many districts there are. I want to say 26 to 28 districts. All of our San Marcos kids got accepted. 44 of them applied, and all of them got accepted. We're 11% of that cohort. We're also sending another group of kids to Rice, the Tapia STEM camp, which is a really powerful camp Richard Tapia has at Rice University. We're sending a group of but where are we going? We're going all over the place. We want our kids going all over the place. Whether they choose to go to Texas State here locally, whether they choose to go to UT, whether they choose to become doctors. Up in the upper right hand is one of our recent graduates who's at Brown University and plays baseball. David Salazar, who's a lawyer in Houston. Down below, Auburn is our trainer who went to Auburn. We have Prudy Calderon, who's in the middle, who's a sophomore at Rice University playing football. And then we have a young lady who went to the Savannah School for the Arts. Where they choose to go is up to them. It's up to us to get them prepared to go wherever their journey takes them. Next slide. I always leave you with this, because this is from the mouth of babes. I get emotional because education's emotional. My kids are in the system and have been done wrong by the system. And I'm not going to make sure that we don't do that to any children in San Marcos. So I leave you with this. I appreciate everything that you do for us here in the district, more than you can ever imagine. Take it away, Andrew.
Here at Bonham, we are building the foundation of education for the city of San Marcos.
We're really excited to offer our community a fully funded pre-K program that ensures that our students get an early start to their educational journey.
Thinking about where to put my daughter for pre-K, all the great things we'd heard about Bonham, there was no question that this is where we wanted her to be. They really learn through play, but she's still growing academically.
Play-based learning is so important. That's how kiddos learn. That's how they grasp onto things.
It's math, there's social, emotional, there's social studies and science.
We want them to say, I love school and I cannot wait for kindergarten.
She's socializing, she comes home, talks about engineering. Learning can be fun and exciting and enjoyable.
San Marcos CISD has given individual laptops to freshmen and juniors this year.
Everybody has access to the skills they need for the modern workforce, and it really increases the efficiency of learning in the classroom. It really takes the learning to new levels, new heights.
I feel that San Marcos CISD and their commitment to technology and willingness to spend all that money to buy laptops for the students really shows how much they care about us, how they're willing to adapt and to change with technology and see what new things it can offer and how it can help out kids in the classroom.
That's given me the opportunity to go above and beyond the level that I think I would be able to at a lot of other schools. And so that's really prepared me for the future. I couldn't have asked for a better experience.
The biggest factor that contributed to me achieving the National Merit Scholar is the teachers in our district, especially the teachers in the AP classes.
They don't put any limitations in front of you. They make you feel like the sky is the limit.
I feel prepared for college and my future career.
They're very good about pushing you individually, and your ceiling is just your own work ethic and how far you're willing to go. The teachers here are always going to accommodate you.
A public school education has a lot of benefit. I feel like I've become more independent through a public school system because it has made me step out of my comfort zone, and now I feel more confident in myself to get what I need for my education.
I'm a San Marcos CISD student, and I'm a National Merit Scholar.
I'm a San Marcos Rattler, and I'm a National Hispanic Scholar.
I'm a San Marcos Rattler, and I'm a National Merit Scholar and a National Hispanic Scholar.
Hayden in the middle is going to TCU, pretty much on a full ride. Ben is UT Austin, Ben Murdoch, and Isabella. I feel sorry for her. I mean, she's got to choose between UT, MIT, and potentially Stanford. Like, I don't know. So it's a tough one, but that's good problems to have. They are your kiddos. They are your community. I appreciate what it is that you do for us. Again, thank you, Jason and the Chamber, for everything you do. And God bless y'all.
Thank you. Ooh. All right, there we go. Thank you, Superintendent Cardona. I speak for all of us when I say that we look forward to watching the continued growth of the school district and your tie collection. Can I get one more round of applause for our Speaker, Mayor Houston, and Superintendent Cardona? I also want to say this. If you are not involved in our city in one aspect or our school district and something caught your eye today, please get involved. We have a great community, but we need great continued partners, and this is our partnership right here in this room. And so please, if there's something you saw today or heard today, get involved. Find out from our city manager, from our superintendent, from our Board of Education leaders, from our city's elected officials. They need your help. We need your help to continue to grow and make San Marcos a great place to live, work, and play. On behalf of the San Marcos Area Chamber of Commerce, our board, and all attendees today, I would like to thank our mayor and superintendent for their remarks this afternoon. As you can tell, the city of San Marcos' future is bright. And I would like once again to thank our sponsors. Our gold sponsors, the city of San Marcos, Freese & Nichols, Lacima, LMB, Inc., Texas State University, Randolph Brooks Federal Credit Union. Our bronze sponsors, A+ Federal Credit Union, Half & Associates, McCoy's Building Supplies, and Pertnell Electric. Thanks again for all your thank you again for all for coming out this afternoon and your time. And this time I would like to invite our elected officials from the city and school district to join us on stage for some group photos. Enjoy your afternoon and your week.